guys, and welcome back to the Majestic Loons. My name is Greg, and I'm here with Die3G to talk about transfer updates. Where should we look to improve for players for squad depth? So first off, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm home. I just got over bronchitis because we tried to film this last week, but somebody slept through the whole thing. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it is what it is. Doing good. So there, of course, I think we go as far as one of the things I think we needed was people to play, up top at striker, somebody other than Unu, because I think as you alluded to, Cal said that Unu, like the best seasons he had was when he was playing on the left and not really a natural nine. Of course, we brought Abu Danladi back, I think, on a 1 year plus a option. And then, of course, Hlongwane, the young South African. Just love how all South Africa is like Minnesota is our team now. I've been supporting them. My granddad on his deathbed said support Minnesota United, and it's I love it, but I'm also dreading when he doesn't play him that much, just the amount of backlash that is going to be on that are going to be in the comments and replies for it. And then of course there's Luis Amarilla, who I think deals are at the final stages, permanent transfer. He looked amazing. Him, Reynoso, along with the front four, I think is just incredible. Would be all around, and I think he had a really productive loan where he was this. I think he was back in Ecuador. I think he even got called up to the Paraguayan national team. And then drafting Tani Olowashani, the super draft, who it's like
St. John's.
Yeah, St. John's. He will take up an international spot though.
Okay.
So what are your, as far as
thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts on strikers.
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts. So number one, let's address the South Africans. If we are pronouncing his name wrong, we apologize. Two, I'm making a video just for you guys. It should be out. Basically, I think that he's gonna play Minnesota for Minnesota too. That's what the reports were. I think he's got a really good future, but we need to let him have time to adjust. I think one thing Minnesota does really, really poorly is we get these players and we just throw them into the deep end and say, okay, guys, figure it out. And I think one player has really only been able to do that, and it's Manuel Reynoso. Mm-hmm. You can argue Frankopane. Hanu slowly getting there. Lud had, when he first came here, wasn't as productive as he is now. So we need to, and he's young, got to give him a grace period. I have a beef with a lot of Minnesota United fans right now. It's regarding our draft pick and our latest signing. They were due to injury. Okay, guys, it's okay. You can be young and like hurt something, right? It's not gonna affect. It's not Kevin Molino. Kevin Molino's a little bit older. He has a history of injuries, right? It's okay. It is okay. I have torn my ACL partially. I know sort of what the process is like. I know recovery, but I have no problems, no lingering issues to this day. If the recovery is right, it's fine. Also, we signed the striker who I believe his like chances created or goals, GX, whatever, was the same with Christian Ramirez at in like 2017. But then he had some injuries, right? We signed him for a one with an option. He's depth. Give him a chance, right? Okay, we just need to give people chances. You can't just say, "Oh, he's signed with us." I mean, if we have Hanu and Amarilla ahead of him, and he's like our third, because I think they want to play Patrick Way as a striker, even though FIFA and Football Manager have him listed on the wing, right? I don't know, but you give him a chance. I'm excited to see what these guys can do. I just think having more depth is good, especially with COVID. We've seen a lot in the Premier League. We have a Premier League fan here, Evertonian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A lot of breakouts.
Oh, yeah. You talk about it, and I think that's something I think Keith sometimes doesn't do is sometimes is use the, uses his, squad depth. If he does use it, maybe it's like 2 games a season. I mean, that's just beyond me, and it's just hopefully we see a lot more depth, rotational and in all the areas this season. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much, and so it's just it is what it is. I would love, definitely love to see, what Amarilla, if he's fully back, I think he's kind of dealing with a injury kind of as he was playing with us, but
ankle.
Yeah, ankle, and so hopefully he's all healthy, and I think he's even said like he wants to come, he wants wanted to come back, and I think also I think Keith said with Don Lottie that they're kind of sad to see Don Lottie picked in the expansion draft, and kind of good to have bring him back, and kind of had some unfinished business, and if this is a guy, I think his most productive season was I think was his first season when he had like 8 goals. And I mean, why should you be criticizing when he could chip in with 6 to 8 goals a season. I know he really didn't play a lot at Nashville, and his minutes, but it's good, and they like the way that he plays, and kind of that's what are kind of continuing.
So I have one more thing about Amarilla. So just for if any new viewers are watching, hello. But just a little recap on him. We had him for the 2020 season. Brought him in. He did really well against Portland, I believe. He started about 3 games for us. Looked pretty productive. Looked good. But then he got hurt in the first game of the MLS back tournament. So then we had to start Mason Toy. And then basically it looked as season went on, he had more injury issues. We started playing Aaron Schoenfeld. Hell yeah, big sell. As the season went on, but then he had season 9 ankle surgery. But what I see is the boys like him. The boys like him to this day. They're friendly on Instagram. We really thought this guy was going to be the future at the time. Maybe it was 2 years ago, but like basically jerseys, everything. It was basically a guarantee that we were going to bring him back. So I'm glad he's back. He's going to get this opportunity, but I don't want him to be rushed in. I want him to be able to settle, because we've seen he can play. He can play at the MLS level. I'm so excited, but I think if he has one bad game, we can't harp on him too badly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly. And you look at him, and he said, he set the goal of, I think he set the goal of 20, 25
20 goals,
goals.
yeah.
Yeah, or something like that. And they were all just thinking it was crazy. But, if you have somebody like, like Reynoso behind him with the chances that Reynoso creates, I mean, this guy, I mean, Amarilla can, almost be just, incredible and score goals when you have, such a creator like Reynoso behind you, creating those chances. And next, I think, would be midfield. Of course, Ozzy was out of contract. The club really tried to bring him back, but I think it was just the allure of him playing for Gonzalo Pineda, his former teammate in Seattle, and I think I think he has a home in Miami, so Atlanta, that'd be a closer, and then plus also to replace Dr. Greg, who was I think declined his option because I believe if we took up his option, he would have gotten I think he would have gotten a big pay rise.
Yeah.
I think somebody that I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this season that we got. I mean, like halfway through last season was Rosales. I think kind of is he a good as a at 6 or an 8? I think Heath said that they see his best position as being the as a 6, kind of behind maybe kind of playing back up to Will Trapp, because Trapp with his experience and his leadership, and then you also you can't forget hashtag respect the tuck to Corey Hayes.
Love him.
I think when he comes on the pitch, he's he does his job, and kind of he's just good. So kind of what are your thoughts as far as the the midfield and kind of as far as maybe targets to go after?
So midfield has like a lot of potential. Basically, I'm gonna say something. I don't know how many people agree with this. I don't think Ozzy and Will Trapp. I don't think Ozzy Alonso and Will Trapp worked well together. You can especially see that in our last game when we played Ozzy Alonso together and Will Trapp. There was too many miscommunications for me. They both wanted to play ultra defensive, and that's and that kind of screws over Reynoso, because they're too focused on the defense, and we're not working on pushing creativity forward. So then Reynoso's having to track back. So then he's not really able to get as much. He's not able to connect well with the striker, which was Hanu. So then we're kind of leaving out the forwards, and it was a mess. So basically, there's a lot of miscommunication. I really liked Ozzy, but he played well over his expectations last year. So it was kind of at a weird thing. It's like we're waiting for you just to fall, but you're not. He just didn't work well with Will Trapp. I think Will Trapp is our future captain after Michael Boxall. Right now, what I'm thinking is like midfield. I think I really want to see more of Hassani Dotson and Will Trapp because I think Hassani Dotson can play as a more creative role. He can work on, working into space and connecting with Reynoso, whereas Will Trapp can then play a little bit more defensively. And so we're like, okay, you both have set roles now where it's not. And I mean, Ozzy, respect to him. I wish he was back, but he's not. So, and then Ja'Cory Hayes is a great depth piece. Every time he comes on, there's energy, there's creativity. I love it. I think he needs to get more minutes. I think I think he'll fit more into that if we play with like that. I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I'm still learning. But he will fit more into that Hassani Dotson role. I think being able to be a little bit more creative and play with a little bit more of that. Rosales, I'm very excited about. I mean, we've had conversations before about how good he is. I have one question on him. I've seen reports that we have him on loan, and then I've seen reports that we have him. Do you know what's up?
I believe we got him on 18-month loan. So I believe we have him on loan until
Probably December.
the end. Till December of this year. I think kind of the back off as far as I think maybe you look at it and you're looking at statistics and kind of they were looking at statistics saying that Will Trapp kind of as far as covered the most ground, but
yep.
Almost feels like at sometimes for me it feels like Ozzy as far as like moving maybe moving is a lot better moving forward, getting the ball forward than maybe than Trapp is.
Yes, 100%.
And that I think that's something, and it'll be really interesting to see Trapp and Dotson, and then the potential of maybe go Rosales and Dotson, Trapp and Rosales, and I mean I think that's something we really need to I think we still need to maybe find another
piece.
Yeah, another piece. Yeah,
100%.
I really don't know. Do you have like any names out there that?
So I have a few names for Minnesota United too, but this guy, he's pretty young, but I think he could work in the future. His name is Jorge Hernandez. He plays for LA Galaxy too. So basically, when I was looking at stuff, I was like, all right, I want to see who is leading their category in stats. Like let's look at the statistics here. He created 91 chances last season. That's really good. He's 21. It's also nice. He's a midfielder. He's very creative, and I think that's something that we can lack at times. I think I like Will Trapp, but I think Ozzy was the more out of the two. He's definitely the more creative one. The more I think Will is more like the field general. Like I'm not using the right terms, am I? Probably not. Okay. I think Ozzy was able to get into space more, and he was able to see and create more chances than Will Trapp was, because I think Will Trapp is just more of a defensive midfielder, in my opinion. I think last year for us, he worked best that way. Because he can help out with the midfield, which allows our wing backs when we play Metanir and Gasper's wing backs to get forward in the field. So basically, very creative. He created 91 chances last season. That's very big. He led in chances created. And then I have one for forward. Should I go for that too?
Yeah. I forgot you had that one.
Okay, so for forward, I found somebody. His name is Hajid Berry. All right, so last season he was the top leading goal scorer in the USL Championship. He scored 25 goals. Now I know there's definitely a difference between the USL Championship and the MLS. But basically, I was reading about Minnesota United too, and I was like, okay, it's not, you don't have to be a certain age to play, or like be under a certain age. So I was like, okay, we could sign him. And what we could do is he could work with our new signings. He's got some experience. He played for Orlando City about in 2014. So he's got some experience. Basically, he's still scoring. He's 29 years old. And if we have a COVID outbreak or a lot of injuries, he's able to play. He's also very creative. He's leading, he was in a lot of stats category. He plays for a club in Colorado, I believe. And yeah. So I think right now I couldn't really pick out like a name that would really like no proven MLS player like stood out for me who could work as a forward and who could work out as a midfielder. Midfielder, I think that's a little bit more tricky, is because I kind of want to see. I want to give like Ja'Cory Hayes more of a chance.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, definitely, and see with that, definitely hope, like I said, hopefully, he, gives,
Rosales
rotates
a
a lot
chance.
more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good seeing him, and I think, I think Football Manager has him as a right midfielder for some reason.
Yes, it's the way it's so annoying because when we first got him, I think last year on Football Manager had him and he just played that like how there's like a
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I never use that formation because there's like not enough good players who fit with that. But it's kind of up in the air, but I'm glad that you have that knowledge that he said that because I really think that helps.
Yeah, I think another I was kind of going back to kind of maybe attackers is wingers, losing, definitely losing Ethan Finley, it's kind of, that, it impacts up, even though, he's kind of almost one of the most predictable, players in MLS. Still have Nico Hansen, Thomas Chacon, Justin McMaster. But then we also have to talk about, Minnesota, in the process of contract talks with Chacon. Is it, a contract buyout? Is it really not a lot of information as far as like what they're renegotiating? I know when they said, I know a lot of people were like really excited, really hadn't give Chacon because I think, he wasn't really playing he wasn't playing that much. And I think that when he went on loan to Liverpool back in Uruguay, and they said, "Oh yeah, he's returning to Minnesota," like all the replies to it were saying, you know, even though Chacon really didn't, score or create, they just saw like when Chacon was on the pitch, he brought a creative spark and really, left it all, and really tried to give his best, all, when he was out there. Also could see, Don Ladi and Tani could also be useful wingers as well. I think, kind of, for, more as, maybe in inside forward, can kind of, likes to drift inside. I think, Tani, like I said, 6'2", who would want to become, who would want to be coming up against, a 6'2" winger, but what are your, as far as thoughts, and do you have any kind of players that you think as far as or for replace, on the wings?
Yeah. So I'm looking at Thomas Chacon right now. He can play as a left winger. So I think that's good. Um, he plays really attacking midfield. He's attacking style. Um, we got him for 2.2 million. So I think at this point we either sell him or we develop him because he's super young. I want to see he's like what he's 21. He's about a year older than me. I think right. I don't love Heath's track record with developing young talent. I'm gonna be honest. I think that is something that needs to be addressed this season because you look at people like Dotson, who we have Dotson, St. Clair, and Gasper, who are all good. But back to wingers. Let's see. Azariel Jackson. We have him. We have Patrick Way, who's currently out injured, but we have him. He can play as a winger. So there's three names right there. They're younger. I think what I want to see more of with Minnesota, and I want to see them utilize different formations and different playing styles more based on their opponent. I think wingers come into that. I think, do we sign two people and say, okay, guys, we're going to play in Minnesota United too, but we could bring them up based on the game. More like a money ball kind of strategy. More like, okay, we're going to look at the analytics. They don't do well against, wingers. Here's our two guys. Ethan Finley was definitely a big loss. I think, he created about, for how much my dad always said this about Ethan Finley. He overplays for his ability. But we can't pay him as much as we want to because we do have a salary cap. If it didn't matter, we just say, all right. But yeah, so we're losing 4 to 6 goals based on Ethan Finley and who knows how many assists. So that needs to be, there. Let's see. I'm going to look at similar players to Thomas Chacon on transfer market. Let's see.
Because I know as far as with Finley, I think he wanted to try his luck in the free agent market.
100%. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him going to somebody like Austin, who I think fair enough. I think for their first season, I think they did quite well. Kind of as far as building a team, and I think definitely getting somebody like kind of seeing how other teams of kind of other expansion teams in their first season have done, and bringing in Alex Ring from NYCFC, and then now I think he's now a DP for them. I think he's one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. That's really what. Is there any?
So right now I'm looking at people who are like Ethan Finley. Let me see if anything pops up. So yeah, we have like a lot of like right wingers. We need more left, but I think we need to look and say, all right, for the future, we need to work on developing our guys because I think we have like a lot of young guys, and we were talking about defensive midfield. We're talking about midfield. Nabi, what's his last name?
Kibanguchi
plays. He plays center back, but he can also play defensive midfield.
And I remember because he played for the San Francisco Glens, which is coached by everybody's favorite MLS player, U.S. men's legend, scored a goal against Mexico. Dig it out of your own net. Osvaldo Sanchez, Jimmy Conrad, and he said he was really liked and liked what he saw out of him as a center back. And I think Heath is almost, kind of maybe seen him play sometimes as a a fullback, and kind of maybe and he kind of compared him almost to like Aaron Wan-Bissaka in sort of ways. And I think that's something to look. And I think yeah, that's definitely somebody you could possibly look as to for a midfield option.
We yeah, I think we have like a lot of good pieces that we haven't seen. So it's really hard because when you want to approach something, you're like, okay, we could, the easiest thing to do is sign people. Because sometimes you're like, oh, they could play, but we haven't seen them play. So like it's hard. So that's why I think Minnesota 2 is going to be really good, is because I want to see these young players, even if they play a game or two, just like I believe it's like interchangeable. Like you can play on Minnesota 2 and then play. If not, that's really stupid. But like, I don't know. I think wingers is so hard because you want to like say we should get this guy, but if he's not going to play him, you don't want them to just sit on the bench.
Yeah, no, yeah, and you already look at somebody like when you already have somebody like Fragapane, proper left winger, and you have Lud, who got a lot of stick at the beginning, but now is really kind of flourish and come in at clutch. I know as far as defense, I know they're looking for a player who can play both right and left back.
Yep.
Kind of deputized for. I think I think Dabasi can play left back.
Yes.
You can't forget DJ Taylor, who I think he did get caught out a few times when he played last season, but I do like him, and I definitely think he's he can definitely be one. Hopefully goes plays more this season, but maybe not, depending on Metnair. And I know like my mom and my dad, they were kind of they kind of really didn't like Metnair at times, because sometimes he kind of had his kind of got angry on the pitch, and look at it, quite a few red cards, I think like maybe 2 or 3, I don't know how many, but sometimes you just gotta watch, and you gotta understand and go through something some of us all of us have a some of us have problems with, and accept that that's kind of no way to be behave when you're playing the sport that you love. And then they were also looking, I think they're looking for young another center back behind Coleman, which I thought maybe we're kind of me personally, I think we're good on center backs, because we have Montgomery, and also as you pointed out Kibanguchi also as well. But yeah, I know that's something I think we're kind of, I think maybe besides Gasper, most of our guys are, I think Dabasi, Boxy, and Matner are kind of early 30s, and depending on still have their quality, but you know, depending on, how long they want to play. And it's really, what are your thoughts as far as defensive reinforcements?
There's one guy I'm looking at. The whole signing of Ratala, is that yeah, Juan Ratala.
Yeah, Yuko Raitala.
Ratala, that's how I said. I knew
Yeah.
it wasn't Ratala. Ratala. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way because Chase Gasper did not start the season very well last year. And one thing that we could have done to help fix that is throw Ratala in, who can play left back, right? So the depth chart on left back was Gasper and Ratala, but Heath was like, oh no, all this. I think rotation can be good. My dad always said, he was like, hey, if you're having a, can I swear?
Oh yeah.
All right. If you're having a shit game in rugby, you should get pulled. Like when I was playing bad, my dad would say puller. Like, because sitting on the bench for a game, it really fires you up. I got injured and then I was like, I don't need to practice. And then I missed practice. And then because I got cleared the next day and then I wanted to play. And they're like, no, you sit down. And watching my teammates play, it really fired me up. And then I go in, I have the best game of the season next game. I got man of the match. Like, benching somebody for a game is not a bad thing. And I think people don't need to play every game of the season. So we had, a solid center back and left back depth piece, and we just didn't play him. So we let him walk, which is the correct decision if you're not going to play him. And then we have DJ Taylor, who I'm very high on DJ Taylor. I think he's young. He can play. He's better at right back, and I think he's left back. Of course, he's going to get called out a few times or, caught off, a few times. I think everybody is during the season. But he's young. It was his first MLS season. He's good. He's a great depth piece and then maybe can transform into our starting right back because Metanier's getting older. He's still good, but what you look with age is when you hit like 32, 33, some people are going to just excel. They're going to age like fine wine. And then some people are just going to hit a wall and they're not going to be great again. So we're at this point where we have our two defenders, Dabasi and Boxall, had a great season last year, but going into the season, that's not given. They are not young. And they are young, but not in terms of soccer. So right now, I'm looking at this guy. His name is Son. He can work for Minnesota United too, but if, COVID injury, we need our international break. We need a center back to come in. He has some experience. Sean Tosh. Totschh. Sean is your first name though. He plays for Louisville City. And this is a club I'm very high on. They're great at developing players. They're one of the highest attacking teams in the USL Championship. This guy, he can play as a midfielder and defender. All right, so you're getting that thing. I believe it does not tell me if he plays as a right back, a left back, or a center back, which bothers me. It just says defender. But here's the reason why I'm kind of high on him. I think we need cheap depth pieces because I think we're overpaying for our depth pieces. If you look at Ethan Finlay, yeah, we got 4 to 6 goals out of him, but the problem is for how much Heath does not rotate, we cannot afford to have high salary players on the bench if we're going to play him 1 or 2 games. We just know Heath does not rotate. Hopefully that changes this year. But this guy, he completed 2,266 passes last season. That's the highest out of anyone in the USL Championship. The number 2 was not even 2,000. So Heath likes to play out of the back. He can play out of the back. No one came close. That's, if you want someone who can fit into the system right now, he's 30 or 31. He's 30, which is a little bit of a problem. But he can play out of the back. He can just do accurate passing. he's good if we need a depth piece. I know Heath wants 2 young center backs, but like you said, we have 2 young center backs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's definitely, something to, kind of, look at, kind of, I think, he kind of almost, likes, the experience prefers, the experienced players over the unexperienced players. But, it's, at some point, you do have to end up, playing the, you know, letting the, letting the kids play. And, you look at, you look at some of like, you look at, what you look at like Philly. And I think they did it like, I think they did like 2 consecutive years where basically they traded away all their super draft picks for money. And you look at, the players that they got, they had, Brendan Aronson. I think there's some clubs around, I think even, trying to go even Paxton Aronson. I think even people, I think there are clubs in Europe. I think, in general, I think you look at MLS, and I think you look at, the, as far as the even the January transfer window, and you look at what, the players, and, can, Minnesota be one of those kind of stepping stones. As, you see, so, sometimes, either, players will go straight from, South America to Europe, or, kind of, go South America to maybe MLS as a stepping stone. And then, if they do good in MLS, they can, make their way over to Europe. You look at it, and I think that, that's something that I think we really need to do, is really look in the future. And I'm really excited to see how Minnesota United too, if we bring up guys, and as far as, the development in the future. And, don't just rely on, the, people, kind of maybe older and more experienced, which is, something you always, you always want, someone with more experience. But, I just hope that, in the future, our development is a lot better.
Speaking of development, one fun quick fact: we could have signed Caden Clark on a homegrown.
Oh yeah, we could have, but I almost kind of find it just ironic, just in the fact that I think I think we got like 50. I think we got 50,000 to send over because since he came up. Yeah, I think he came up through the Minnesota Thunder Academy. He wasn't even Minnesota United, and
he's from Bloomington.
People were like, oh, and
or Medina.
Yeah. And then ironic how we ended up Azeel Jackson came up through the Red Bull, and then we got his homegrown priority. And so we almost did a swap with New York, and like, oh hey, you can have Caden Clark, we'll have Azeel Jackson. Who worked out better as of right now? It's Caden Clark, but we'll see how that is. Anything else?
I have some news for you.
Oh,
about MLS 2.
Is it there is no salary cap for it?
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. So that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. I think, if tackle, a salary cap, I think, is something that definitely has its pros and cons as far as that. And I'm, speaking with, my friends in, England, and like one of like my really good friend, he he loves playing ML with loves to manage MLS and Football Manager because he loves trying to get it into like the trying to do the roster regulation and everything. He loves that. Like he picked, I think last season he did Austin, and I think I assume he's probably doing Charlotte this season, and definitely something that I'm really looking forward to. As far as seeing how it goes, as far as no, but I would assume it wouldn't be as much as MLS.
Well, yeah, no high profile play. We're not going to be offering like million salaries to come play in MLS too. No.
But is anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Anything to say before we call it?
Bring back Harrison Heath. No, I'm kidding.
Bring him back as an assistant coach.
His wife's good. His wife played for Canada. Can we get her?
Oh yeah, it's great TV personality as well.
We'll take her. Let's get a 3-man. We'll get her with Kendra and Cal.
Oh wait, no. I think nope. She does for Inter Miami.
Yeah, she does Inter Miami and she does NWSL.
Got it. We will leave it there. Until next time. Come on, you.